Mr. Dekkers, a very warm welcome to Bloomberg Television, sir. You've raised your forecasts for 2011. Now, what gives you the confidence to give that message at the end of the first quarter, sir?
Well, we started off the year very good in the first quarter, really actually a little bit better than we had expected. Our crop sciences business rebounded very strongly from a relatively weak first quarter last year. And that rebound gives us the confidence to raise the guidance. Not a lot, but slightly for the rest of the year.
Now, in that crop science business, can you just give us a little bit more of a flavour of the products that are driving growth and the regions where you're seeing the demand come from?
Yeah, well, growth, of course, is happening in the northern hemisphere right now because that's where the planting season is taking place. Last year, the weather was absolutely terrible in the northern hemisphere around this time frame, or in the last few months. Very, very cold. The weather is a lot better, so the farmers have started planting earlier and more convincingly. That's one. The second is that the agricultural commodity prices this year are much higher than last year. So corn, soya, wheat, prices are much higher. The farmers believe they will make more money and are therefore more willing to invest.
Do you see that as being a long-term phenomenon in terms of crop prices remaining high, so bolstering the farmers, or do you think that that might run out of steam in 2011?
No, I don't think in 2011 it will run out of steam. Of course, there is fluctuation in commodity prices always, but I think if you think about what's happening in the world, that the population continues to grow. Also that sometimes corn is now used as fuel, as an example, not just as food. I think over the long term there is a uptrend in the prices of these commodities that will be good for our business.
And when you sit down with the board and you look at the three pillars as it's been described on many occasions, and you talk about what do we do next, you see Johnson & Johnson doing a deal with Synthes, Novartis doing the Alcan deal, you must talk about how do we grow this business. So acquisitions on the agenda of those discussions, and how much money are you prepared to set aside for that part of the strategy for growth?
Yeah, we are always looking, of course, at opportunities to improve our strategic position through acquisitions. But at the moment, our major focus is organic growth. My predecessor bought and sold in total in a period of 6 years for 43 billion euro. There is still integration work to do, optimization work, organic growth to be driven, innovation, good new product pipelines is a very, very important part of our future. So that is the top priority. And then, of course, augmented with, yes, if the right acquisitions do come along, we'll take a serious look.
And those cost benefits that you're trying to really squeeze out of those acquisitions that you've mentioned, will they play into the bottom line this year, or is that something we can expect further down the line?
Well, it's cost, of course. We said we were going to improve our earnings per share 15% this year over last year. So there is a cost efficiency piece of that. But it's not just cost efficiency, it's also really leveraging the capabilities and the technologies we have to develop new products. And that's the reason why last year, for instance, we increased our R&D budget by 11% to over 3 billion euro. To make sure that the pipeline will be nurtured along, because in the end, innovation, good new products is really what it's all about at Bayer.
Well, one of the key products that the market wants to know about is the extension of Xarelto, and we're waiting for that regulatory approval to expand its use. Any update on that?
Yeah. No, we're still very optimistic. I mean, we hope to get the approvals in the US and Europe, hopefully in the next 12 months. We applied recently in Japan as well. And these are applications that have to do with stroke prevention for patients with serious heart problems like arrhythmia problems. So very, very important application. In the end, we still believe that the top sales potential of Xarelto amounts to about 2 billion euro a year. and that will, we will start seeing, starting middle or end 2012, moving up 13, 14, 15.
Now, if we look at the business as a whole, raw material prices, oil prices are rising. How are you dealing with those challenges, I suppose, specifically in the plastics business?
Yeah, well, we need to pass these price increases on to
have you been successful in doing that?
And we have been successful in doing that, yes. We've worked very hard to do that. The customers understand. They know where oil prices and raw material prices are. They know what has happened in Northern Africa, for instance, over the last months. So the customers understand and are then, themselves also committed to passing on these price increases to their customers again. And that creates an inflationary environment that I think we as a global economy will be seeing quite seriously over the next 6-12 months.
The euro has risen by almost 11% against the US dollar so far this year, and it looks firm according to the market and the analysts. Do you see that as a headwind in the next 3 quarters of the year for you? Do you feel happy with where the euro is trading at the moment in terms of your business?
I don't think of euro dollar from a happy or a sad point of view. When the euro gets stronger, it is of course slightly disadvantageous for our profits. Okay, there's no question. But on the other hand, we have our cost and production very well distributed around the world. We also have some hedging mechanisms in place that are very well thought through. So overall, these effects are relatively small. And I don't think you'll hear me this year make an excuse that our numbers wouldn't be where we want them to be because of foreign exchange. It would have to get really out of proportion, and I don't think that is going to happen.
And if we look at you as the position of one of Germany's largest companies, you're right at the heart of Europe. Does it concern you what's happening in Europe at the moment in terms of the potential of default, or any concern about a slowdown in growth in terms of what's happening in the markets?
Well, it's not good, of course, what's happening in Europe, but you could say the same thing, or even more strongly so, about the United States. The fact of the matter is that a lot of countries have spent more than they should have, and a lot of households have spent more than they should have. And without any doubt, that will lead to a correction in spending. I think we are already experiencing that and will experience it going forward. That is being offset by a tremendous desire for growth in the growth countries, in Asia, in India, in South America. And big companies like Bayer, international companies, benefit so much from that growth spurt that some of the issues in the US and Europe hurt us less as a result of it.